February 2012, we're at the Peterborough airport.
My name is Jeff Brackett, and I'm a local resident that's concerned about tritium pollution that's coming from this location at the Shield Source Incorporated facility at the Peterborough airport. Tritium is radioactive hydrogen. It occurs naturally in the environment at a level of, in this area, of 6 to 7 becquerels per liter. That's 6 or 7 radioactive disintegrations per second per liter of water. But right behind me is a stack that releases tritium from this facility in massive amounts. So much so that across the street from the airport there is an apple tree with apples with readings as high as 5,000 becquerels per liter in those apples. 16 kilometers northeast of this location, tritium in surface water averages 50 becquerels per liter. That's far and above the normal routine exposures that occur normally in Ontario. Tritium is radioactive hydrogen. When it gets into the environment, it can become radioactive water, and radioactive water is no different than non-radioactive water as far as our bodies are concerned, and we can soak it up, drinking it, inhaling it in mist, or absorbing it in shower or bath water, and it can be incorporated into our cell structure where the radioactive disintegration acts like a little projectile, and it breaks genetic material. And tritium can cause cancer, birth defects, and genetic defects. It's a serious problem, and it's an ethical problem.
Years, but they were only given a 3-year license?
Yes, in 2009, Shield Source sought a 5-year operating license, and myself and a few others went to Ottawa and intervened, and the very day that the hearing was held, the province of Ontario released the Ontario Drinking Water Advisory Council recommendation that the new level for tritium in drinking water should be dropped to 20 becquerels per liter. So that was hot off the press. The Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission had read that report at 9 o'clock that morning, and it was fresh. So with our interventions, highlighting our concerns with tritium contamination in the area, and how they were discovering things that they had no idea existed, how radiation contamination wasn't meeting the authorities' model of where tritium should occur. They held back, and they held Shield Source to a 3-year license with a midterm review that was not public a year and a half ago.
And how many years are they applying for now?
Currently they're applying for a 10-year operating license, and my fear is that a 10-year license reduces the regulatory oversight for the facility.
So on, but I didn't have any specific knowledge of this before yesterday, other than my concern about nuclear radiation and that sort of thing. Well, I live here, and my grandchild lives here, so I have concerns about the future of people that live in this area, and wondering about the effects overall.
Done routinely, and there is an environmental monitoring program report released yearly. In 2008, the report showed that on the lawn behind me, just below the stack, isolated around that stack, tritium levels reached an average of hundreds of thousands of becquerels per liter, and in 2007 maxed out at 1.5 million becquerels per liter. No one knew what the cause was, but eventually they determined that that stack wasn't tall enough, that the velocity wasn't great enough to promote dispersion throughout the environment, which would reduce local exposures.
Our facility, which manufactures tritium signs that are self-illuminating, we became aware of their existence right here in the Peterborough airport in Cavan Township, Monaghan, Cavan Township, Millbrook, Monaghan, Cavan Township, because of an incident that occurred in 1991. A few bags, suspicious bags, garbage bags, were found at our transfer station. Upon investigation, it was determined that they contained clean-up material from a spill that occurred at the facility here. and the employees were asked to distribute them on their way home.
Tritium is particularly a risk to the vulnerable in our society, and particularly the unborn. For instance, if a pregnant woman inhales, absorbs, or ingests tritiated water, that water can cross over the placenta to her unborn fetus. If the fetus is a female, a little girl, the tritium can lodge and become organically bound in the ovaries and can affect the generation beyond with genetic damage. We don't have informed consent. We've got uninformed exposures here. I mean, my grandkids live 7.7 kilometers up the road.
Thank you very much.
Serious. Let me tell you, tritium is a potent carcinogen, and it's such an active, tiny little atom that it gets through every single substance except gold. You can't prevent it escaping out of stainless steel, concrete, glass, you name it. So tritium will be leaking from that facility continuously, and it goes to various organs in the body. It causes brain tumours, muscle tumours, cancers in various organs all over the body. It is one of the scariest substances that we know, and if you go to the Journal of Health Physics, there is a huge literature on tritium, mostly written in the early 90s, written by the nuclear industry. They're scared stiff of tritium, yet they say, oh, it doesn't matter, it's only radioactive hydrogen. Read it and learn how dangerous tritium is. That plant should be and must be closed down.